All right, so get this. Imagine, just picture it. George Carlin, Mr. Cynicism himself, meeting God.
Yeah, in the afterlife. I can only imagine what that conversation would sound like.
Oh, it's a doozy. But that's exactly where today's deep dive is taking us, straight to the pearly gates for a healthy dose of, well, satire and deep thought, all rolled into one.
Sounds intriguing.
It is. The piece we're looking at is actually this fictional dialogue, right? But trust me, it gets pretty real pretty fast. It uses this humor, right, to explore all these heavy topics like faith, free will, even dives into some politics.
Oh, wow. All in one go.
Oh, yeah, it throws everything but the kitchen sink in there. But that's what we're here for, right? To break it all down, figure out how it all ties together, and see what we can learn from it.
Makes sense. So where does it all begin?
Well, it starts off, right, with Carlin arriving in heaven
Yeah,
and his reaction. Classic Carlin.
Oh, I bet.
He finds it all, a bit too much. All those harps and angels, the whole 9 yards.
Right. It's all a bit over the top for someone like him. Doesn't really fit his personality, does it?
Not one bit. It's like they took everything he made fun of and made it a reality. But what really kicks off the conversation is this, well, a newsflash from Earth. In this fictional world, Trump, he wins a second term.
Whoa, hold on.
And get this, he appoints Kristi Noem, the governor.
Oh, yeah, I know her.
Yeah, he appoints her as Secretary of Homeland Security.
That's a choice for sure. I mean, she's known for being pretty outspoken, especially on gun rights and all that. Wasn't there something with her dog, too? Some controversy?
Yeah, something like that. But you can imagine, Carlin is not thrilled. Trump winning again. Okay, maybe. But no, I'm calling the shots on Homeland Security. Yeah, that's a whole other can of worms.
I bet. Throws a wrench in the whole heavenly peace thing, right?
Right. And that's when the author really gets into it. I mean, Carlin uses this news to bring up this classic philosophical problem, the problem of evil, wars, famine, political chaos. He points to all of it and asks God, how can you let this happen? If you're so powerful and good, why all the suffering?
Oh, yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Why does bad stuff happen if there's supposedly a benevolent God in charge?
Exactly. It's a question that's been around, well, forever. And Carlin, in his own way, uses humor to confront God with it head on.
He doesn't hold back, does he?
Not a chance. And so God's response, it's all about free will, apparently. Humans have choices, they make them, and those choices shape the world, for better or worse.
So basically God's saying, not my fault, it's on you humans.
Pretty much. But of course, Carlin, he's not satisfied with that answer. He's like, hold on a minute, shouldn't you, step in sometimes, especially when things go completely off the rails? Like, what's the point of having this all-powerful God if he just sits back and watches the world burn, right?
It's a good question, isn't it? Where's the line between respecting free will and, intervening to prevent suffering?
Exactly. And this is where Carlin brings it all back to Noem. He's like, okay, free will, I get it. But what about, animals? Does a dog have the same free will as a human? Does their life matter just as much to you?
Ah, so he's connecting it back to those controversial actions, right? Making us think about the bigger picture of, well, I guess, divine love or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it makes you think, doesn't it? Like, is there some kind of hierarchy in God's eyes? Humans on top, animals below. Where does it all fit? And God's answer, well, it's kind of vague. It's like, yeah, all creatures have value, but the comparison is a bit, oversimplified.
I can see how Carlin wouldn't be satisfied with that. It doesn't really answer the question, does it?
Not really. But here's the thing, right? By the end, Carlin doesn't suddenly become a believer. He doesn't throw in the towel and start praising God.
He doesn't have a sudden change of heart.
Nope. His skepticism, it softens a little, sure, but it doesn't disappear. And that's what I find really interesting. Is like the piece is saying that maybe faith and doubt, they can exist together. Maybe that's how we make sense of this crazy, messy world.
So it's not about finding all the answers, right? It's more about accepting that we don't have them all and being okay with that uncertainty.
Yeah, something like that. And maybe even finding humor in the middle of all the chaos. It's like that old saying, the only thing certain in life is uncertainty.
I like that. And this piece, it's encouraging us to, embrace that, to question things, to explore different ideas and perspectives, and to not be afraid to laugh at the absurdity of it all.
Yeah, exactly. And so I guess that's the takeaway, right? If you could sit down with, a higher power or whatever you believe in, what would you ask? What would it take to make you question or believe?
Those are the questions we should all be asking ourselves, I think, because even fictional dialogues like this one, they can make us think about these big philosophical ideas, the stuff that really matters. They remind us to challenge our own beliefs, consider different points of view, and just, well, keep the conversation going.
Keep those wheels turning
That's
and maybe find a few laughs along the way.
Laughter is good.
Always.